Hi guys, welcome to my channel. There is a really concerning story about some employers who are not paying over pension fund contributions. You know, on your salary, there is that deduction that says pension contribution or retirement contribution, but it appears that there is about 16,500 companies that are not paying it over to the pension fund entities. This is really alarming because most people will only find out once they retire and are in desperate need of that money. Imagine after how many years of you just working for a company that has not been paying for contributions. So I think it's high time, guys, that we start looking, not even looking, scrutinizing our payslips, calling our pension fund entities to make sure that our contribution is reaching them, because really it's a shame that we can't even trust our employers to do the right thing, to abide with the law. Have a listen to this interview.
The numbers are severe. The numbers don't paint a good picture. We have got 16,500 employers that are not contributing, or that at one point, at least as at our publication at 30 June this year, had not contributed or contravened the Pension Funds Act. The total amount of arrears is in the region of 8.3 billion, and it affects approximately 600,000 members that are participating in retirement funds. So unfortunately, yes, the problem is recurring. And we have some wins where, for the 3-year period that you have mentioned, since we started with the publications, there has been a recovery of R1 billion. But unfortunately, in some instances and in some sectors, the problem has worsened. And so we are dealing with it as a recovery, as a recurring and an ongoing problem.
So you say that in some sectors, one of the elements you talk to, some sectors. What's happening in two sectors in particular? And let me start with the automotive sector. That seems to be dominant in what I can only call the role of infamy. The 6,000 of the 16,000 non-compliant, the list of the worst offenders that you recently published, is dominated to a certain extent by employers in the automotive sector. Do we know why that is the case?
So we do have numbers that reflect that in certain sectors, the problem is larger than in others. So if we speak about the municipalities, they contribute 20% of their arrears. And we know the state of, unfortunately, as the Auditor General has also been public about the state of municipalities. So we know and perhaps can expect that retirement funds would have also been affected by the financial difficulties that municipalities are having. In general, our bargaining councils account for 80% of the remainder of the arrears problem. And that includes your automotive industry, it includes your private sector, security sector, it includes your contract cleaning, all of these sectors where really there's industrial work that is happening as well, but they're characterized by a lot of contract work that you have. And if you look at even sectors such as clothing, for instance, we know how much clothing has suffered internationally and also at home, in terms of factories not being able to compete with your newer entrants like Temu and Shein that have come in. So some of these are really sector related, but you can already see when we talk about them, how they will affect how the companies themselves would be operating as well.
Sure, I get, as far as the rules are concerned, if I understand correctly, employers have an obligation to pay over these contributions 7 days after payday. So I get a delay of a day or two, 3 days, 10 days perhaps, but a delay of 26 years, that is just hard for me to wrap my head around.
And that is definitely something concerning from even the retirement funds management side. So our role as the FSCA is to oversee the retirement funds and the board of trustees of those retirement funds, to ask those hard questions, to say, but for 26 years, what steps have you taken to recover these arrear contributions? What have you done in order to try and make sure that these savings are put back in these members' retirement savings?